SZA released the, the a big article about the big the big IP issues in F5, and I haven't read it, and I know Alan hasn't read it either, so figured we'd go over and react to it. Um, all right. I'll just read part of it out loud. But it looks like all big IP I series, R series, and any F5 device that has reached end of life support. Oh, that's unacceptable risk. Oh my goodness. And software, all devices running Big IP, F5 OS, Big IP, TMOS, Virtual Edition, VE, Big IP Next, Big IQ, Big IP Next for Kubernetes, BNK, Cloud Native Network Functions, CNF. Uh,
How does it affect so many things? This is insane.
but I mean also like uh I stop calling things Big IP. And just the naming of this is just horrendous.
They
BNK.
did stop calling
No.
it Big IP. They called it Big IQ.
Oh yeah, Big IQ, Big IP, Cloud Native Network Functions, CNF.
Big
It's like
IQ is doing a lot to prevent vulnerabilities, isn't it?
the more painful part of this is the names of the product than having to throw them in the trash. All right, scope. The required actions in this directive apply to agency assets in any federal information system. Okay. Means it's pretty bad. FedRAMP, authorized cloud service, all that. Okay. Immediately identify all big IP hardware devices, all instances of these bits of software, harden public-facing big IP. What do they say to harden it? Follow the requirements in CISA's binding operational directive, mitigating the risk from internet exposed management interfaces. This doesn't seem specific to big IP, however. Yeah, this is from June 13th. So it looks like just a hardening guide, and then report to CISA and follow further CISA instructions. Okay. By October 22nd, that is 5 days from now, apply the latest vendor provided update for each of the following products. Okay, so it looks like F5 has released an update for several bits of their software. You should validate with MD5. What year is it? The published SHA sums of or hashes of those new patches for all F5 virtual and physical devices not covered. Update. Okay, so it looks like F5 has released a patch by the 22nd. You either need to deal with this by the 31st, just over 1 week, or throw your devices in the trash if they're no longer covered by, if they are end of life.
Strong
Uh,
advice right here.
yeah, where's end of life? Where is that?
You well. Um, I'm not sure, but I sometimes reading these official reports from like CISA and stuff are not the most clear, don't necessarily get to the point quickly enough for me. So I usually go to Bleeping Computer to see like what the heck is going on. It's a great like kind of aggregator for all sorts of threat intel. Um, and it sounds like some hackers actually stole the vulnerabilities, stole the source code, I guess, and were able to find vulnerabilities because they stole the source code, which I think is kind of interesting. Because obviously, if you have source, uh, you can do a lot more in terms of reversing and being able to find holes. Um, but I still can't find any details about like what the actual flaw is. Have you?
Um, let's find it. Let's try to hunt that down. I'm gonna guess it's a some kind of. Let's look up Big
Not
IP
even seeing the
CVE.
CVE.
2 days ago, 2025 58424, and looks like there's another SSL TLS. That's probably not it. Big IP TMM. And actually, I want to go to Palo Alto Networks. Let's go to some of these. They'll probably have done the homework for us. Anytime something big happens, the hardest part is just figuring out what happened because it changes so fast. you go to, I end up on Twitter a lot, just reading what people are tweeting about it. You just type in big IP in the search bar and you'll get good information. Undisclosed traffic can cause corruption and unauthorized data modification in protocols which do not have message integrity protection. Okay, this sounds like this may be it. It was published on 10/15. I think that's the right timeline. But what that says to me is not that this is like an RCE immediately just across all F5. I could be wrong. What this says to me is that there's some type of man-in-the-middle attack that allows you to take control of an existing session and then deliver new uh, command payloads to F5 devices. And the reason I'm reading that, and I could be wrong, is unauthorized data modification in protocols. Sounds like a man-in-the-middle attack because you're attacking a protocol. And message integrity protection sounds like you're modifying those, which
Yeah.
who knows what type of protocol it's using under the hood. It should be something good like, well, there's SSH would be great since it has a lot of these protections built in, but I'm kind of curious what it was. Let's keep digging.
Yeah. Well, I'm reading, I just finished the Bleeping Computer article, and it sounds like attackers were able to breach F5's corporate network, and that's how they got the source code and the undisclosed vulnerabilities. So, uh, is it a O-Day if it's been reported to the company and not patched yet? I guess technically still, right? Because an O-Day is when it gets patched. Um,
Yeah, there's no patch available.
Yeah, so it sounds like some of these CVEs actually came out of the fact that they knew about these vulnerabilities internally, but they hadn't actually uh, taken action on them yet, or they were working on remediation and hadn't announced it yet. But F5 is also stating that there's no evidence that attackers have actually leveraged the stolen, undisclosed vulnerabilities for attacks. But I would guess this is putting a lot of heat on F5 to actually patch the worst ones and get out these CVEs ASAP. So it seems like these vulnerabilities are not necessarily the big story. The big story is that the hacker got in and was able to see that there was undisclosed vulnerabilities that they could take advantage of.
Yeah,
It's
these
a whole nother
vulnerabilities
thing.
look pretty bad. I mean,
They do.
but also, yeah, it sounds like the bigger story is that the hackers were in F5 for a while, and it took months to also patch, is my understanding. Like, when did they breach F5 systems?
It doesn't say in this article. It says they became aware of the breach in August 9th, 2025. So they didn't actually announce anything until today or
All I
recent.
know is that security team, hug ups to that security team because they've been working around the clock on this incident for probably 2 months straight, living off of Mountain Dew and Domino's pizza.
It's true. Wow. So I guess the reason why they released such a big advisory is just because they know that all of these things were taken and specifically the source code for a lot of their appliances. That's why it was such a broad concern.
It's kind of interesting though, because how did they become aware of these CVEs? It sounds like hacker breached the network, took the source code, some time went on and they became aware of this, and now there's CVEs to patch. I'm kind of curious if in the last 2 months they've been trying to patch the backlog of issues that have been reported to them so they can get big IP up to a good place, or if there was some other thing that we're missing in the story where they learned of these vulnerabilities between when they became aware of the breach and now.
Yeah, that's the big question. I think it's could be a mix of both, really, right? There's frequently times when like internal teams will know about uh, weak areas in the product that they might need to address, but haven't quite gotten the chance to yet, and that might cause them to actually try and address those risks before they get hacked, right?
Yeah, I think that that's reading this. who knows? I have no idea what GB hackers is, but it it seems to support that what F5 is trying to do with these patches is bring big IP and all of these other related bits of software up to a good place based on issues that they were previously aware of. And that would make sense because if somebody was in the if somebody was in F5's network, then they'd be aware potentially of all the issues that F5 security team was aware of at the
Yeah.
time that they stole
Yeah.
the source code. Whoo!
Something
Easy.
interesting I kept noticing though is they kept referring to appliance mode as having a different CVE score. Do you still have that open? CVSS score rather?
Where's that?
If you scroll down. Uh oh no, it was on the other tab.
This one, this one.
This one. Yeah. So notice how these CVSS scores are different. I was like, what the heck is appliance mode? Isn't F5 just an appliance? And the answer is yes, it is an appliance. But like, I guess standard mode actually gives you higher level access. But what's interesting to me, so standard mode is like you have a Unix cell, you have access to Bash, etc. And appliance mode is supposed to be like a limited version of that, as you can see here. And that is bizarre to me because their limited privilege environment has the higher CVSS scores, which tells me that when they're trying to like make it more secure, they were actually introducing custom code, which is not as secure as like the standard appliance mode
Yeah,
or the standard mode rather. That's really
or
strange.
appliance mode, like it could be the case that CVSS and having this imp like for example, if appliance mode is configured to prevent arbitrary commands that
Uh,
you run with a shell, then
yeah.
this could break the CVSS where it becomes more serious based on
The
the
scoring problem. Yeah,
yeah.
I see.
So it
That
could be
makes
the same
sense.
impact whether it's standard mode or appliance mode. I'm not sure either. It seems like there's some difference, but could be the same impact, but the appliance mode is not providing the protection that it's supposed to be providing.
Very interesting. Well, Batcho
Well,
F5s.
at your
That's the
F5,
lesson learned. Don't
stay
run management interfaces on the internet.
the other thing is stay tuned. All these situations seem to change a lot from day to day, week to week. I'm sure there'll be a little bit more information and clarity, but sometimes there's not. And when a big issue happens, and so stay tuned, patch your F5 machines, and yeah, don't have hackers in your network for months at a time. That's usually ill-advised.